Hello all, and welcome back to Time to Dice Character Creation, where we make your favorite fictional characters in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Today, we're combining our Spooky Month coverage with our coverage of the new options in the War of Immortals book, with the king of games himself, Yugi Muto. Yugi may not seem like an obvious pick for a Halloween video, but I beg to differ. He regularly lets the spirit of a 10,000-year-old dead guy possess him and perform ancient Egyptian rituals to summon monsters to fight other monsters, and banish people's souls to the Shadow Realm. If that's not terrifying, I don't know what is. And for those of you saying, oh, but Mr. Dice Guy, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just a trading card game. It's not actually dangerous. First off, I can't hear you. Stop talking to the screen. It's a little disconcerting. And second, while most of Yugi's duels are using just holograms to play pretend, there are more than enough shadow games throughout the series to turn the stakes of the game to a lot higher than you might find at your local game competition. So beware of spoilers, and without further ado, let's get started. So, what do we need to make Yugi Boy? For starters, we need to be able to give up control of our body to a 5,000-year-old Egyptian pharaoh who can help us win a children's card game. Seems like a little bit waste of that kind of ability, but who am I to judge? Next, we need to be able to summon powerful creatures and powerful wizards and magnet robots and dragon deities in order to fight our enemies for us. And finally, we need to be able to cheat. We need to be able to use the heart of cards to twist our luck to get just the right result at just the right time. In the show, this is used by drawing just the right card, but we're going to use our luck boost on our dice instead. Yugi is a human who gets possessed by another human, so there's nothing I can use to even argue a different ancestry. That means 8 hit points, a boost to intelligence and charisma, and the skilled human heritage to pick up training and later expert in the deception skill. For our background, we're going to go with the willing host. This reflects our relationship with the pharaoh, giving us a boost to both wisdom and intelligence, as well as training and spirit lore. This background doesn't give us a skill feat, but it does give us host spirit ability, to let Pharaoh take over and do things that we're not usually trained in, and use Pharaoh's proficiency instead. For our class, we're going to go with the second class released in War of Immortals, the Animist. Yugi is one of the few characters in this world who can see and communicate with dual spirits, using them to make up his deck. As an animist, Yugi gets 8 hit points per level, as well as training in perception, fortitude, and reflex saves, as well as expert and will saves, to represent the protection the Millennium Puzzle gives us from mind control and other mental influences. As with most spellcasters, we only get training up to simple weapons, but unlike most casters, we can wear more than a leather jacket, with training up to medium armor. And finally, we wouldn't be a good spellcaster if we didn't get at least trained in spell DCs. For our attributes, we have a +0 in strength. In ancient Egypt, monsters were summoned using heavy stone tablets, but nowadays, all you have to lift is paper. Dex is at a +2. The gang actually finds themselves dodging non-card-based dangers surprisingly often, so this will help when that comes up. Constitution is at +0. Yugi starts with the exact same number of life points as anyone else in any duel he's ever in. Intelligence is at a +2. Dueling in Yu-Gi-Oh! Seems to rely on already knowing the effect of every monster ever created. No wonder there's a school set up to specifically train duelists. Wisdom is a +4 for devising strategies and predicting opponent strategies, and Charisma is at a +2 because the real Egyptian god cards are the friends we made along the way. Not really, but friendship is still cool. For our skills, we're going to become Legendary in Arcana, because have you seen a modern day Yu-Gi-Oh card? You'll need to be Legendary to find out what your spells do. We also get Master in Occultism and Deception. Occultism to keep track of what each Millennium item does, and Deception because you have a pretty good poker face. Expert in Diplomacy to make friends, and Society because we have the ghost of an ancient Egyptian pharaoh in our head, so I'd hope we'd be able to pick up at least a little bit of history. We get Trained in Religion because it's pretty awkward to summon an Egyptian god only to forget its name, and Performance because you regularly pack stadiums to watch you play a card game. And finally, Intimidation to remind viewers that this is a Halloween video. Every day, as an animist, we get to modify our deck a little bit, selecting 2 types of spirits to incorporate. Yugi's first deck was made up mostly of spellcasters like Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, and soldiers like King's Knight and Buster Blader. We're going to use the Monarch of the Fey Courts to reflect the more magical elements, and Witness to Ancient Battles for the more physical ones. We also must pick an animistic practice. The medium practice is the most fitting, allowing us to relinquish control to the spirit within inside the necklace. We also get a class feat at this level. Well, technically we get an ancestry feat, but we're going to use natural ambition to get a class feat instead. Apparition Sense lets us speak to and see other dual spirits. And of course, as a spellcaster, we need spells. Each type of spirit we pick adds a couple of spells to our list, but since we don't actually get to pick those spells, we're not going to cover them here, instead focusing on the spells that we actually do get to choose. Needle Darts lets us cast the spell Thousand Knives, dealing damage to a foe. And Wash Your Luck lets us use the Millennium Puzzle to resist any foes that would try to make us unlucky. For our first rank spells, Summon Lesser Servitor lets us summon more of our basic monsters like Feral Imp or Karibo, while Sanctuary lets us cast Swords of Revealing Light to buy us some time from aggressors. At level 2, we get Oddity Identification, letting us recognize all the Egyptian relics that we stumble across, while the Conceal Spell class feat lets us Destiny draw the exact card we need from our deck without our opponents notice that we are blatantly cheating. Level 3 Animist can pick up the Prescient Planner feat to purchase the exact card we need to counter our foe and put it into our deck. We also get Fortitude Expertise, increasing our will saves to legendary, and rank 2 spells like Final Sacrifice, letting us load one of our monsters onto the Catapult Turtle, destroying the minion to do a bit of damage. And Lucky Number lets us roll a number each day to be our lucky number for that day. If we roll that number at any point during the day, we can re-roll it. This is a luck boost, plain and simple. At level 4, we can shuffle our deck with a Circle of Spirits class feat, allowing us to switch which spirit is currently in our hand. And the Recognize Spell skill feat lets us finally figure out what Pot of Greed does. At level 5, we pick up the Starfinder feat, Confident Actualization, letting us get yet another reroll once per day. Let's face it, the hologram technology in the Yu-Gi-Oh universe is much closer to Starfinder than is a Pathfinder setting anyway. We also get Weapon Expertise, boosting our proficiency and Fortitude saves to Master, and rank 3 spells. Bind Undead lets us give any undead a change of heart, while the Sanctified Ground spell lets us give allies a +1 to either apparitions, celestials, dragons, fiends, monsters, or undead. Basically, just figure out what kind of deck the opponent's using and counter it. Kaiba uses dragons, Tay uses celestials, and Merrick uses fiends. It's not too difficult. At level 6, the Spirit of the Pharaoh is always watching our back with Medium's Awareness, giving us a +2 to initiative checks that heightens as we go on. Turn order in the Yu-Gi-Oh universe seems to be dedicated based off of who says I'll go first, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get the upper hand. And the Aura Sight skill feat lets us see opponents who are also mystically enhanced, like Jaden and his partner dual spirit, Yubel. At level 7, we're going to pick up the Different Worlds general feat. As it turns out, being a high schooler results in different life experiences than being a 3,000-year-old pharaoh, so this feat will let us get some of the benefits from that noble background, namely training in the genealogy lore, and a +4 to our deception boost when we try to claim something as true that would be true from the pharaoh's point of view. We also get Expert Spellcaster, boosting our society score to Master, and a 3rd apparition. Stalker and the Darkened Boughs is a good spirit that represents some of the beasts in our deck, like Silverfang or Gazelle, the king of mystical beasts. For our 4th rank spells, Spell Immunity lets us hit our opponents with a D spell. We do have to know the name of the spell they're going to use against us first, however, so preparation is key. And Prophet's Luck lets us get away with our more luck-based shenanigans, giving ourselves or a creature we can see a buff or debuff to any saving throw. However, if the result of the saving throw is still not what we like, we take a -1 status penalty to saving throws for the next 10 minutes as our luck backfires against us. At level 8, we can bring a used spell card back from the graveyard with Apparition's Reflection, allowing us to use an already cast Apparition spell at the cost of being confused for a round. And Quick Recognition lets us automatically identify a spell as a free action once per round, helpful when you're facing down the Winged Dragon Fra with his 50 different anime-only secret abilities. At level 9, we're going to pick up even more spellcasting with the Ancestry feat Multi-Talented, letting us pick up the Wizard Dedication for 2 free arcane cantrips. Let's take Gouging Claw for summoning Gazelle, the king of mystical beasts, and Shield for summoning Big Shield Gardner. It's just now dawning on me that I've spent way too much time watching Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid. We also get Perception Expertise at this level, boosting our Acrobatic skill to Legendary. For our brand new 5th rank spells, let's get Summon Dragon, so we can borrow Joey's Ace Monster, and Spiritual Guardian for summoning Gardna to protect us or our allies. At level 10, we can start special summoning monsters with Apparition's Quickening, lowering the number of actions we need to cast all but our highest rank of spells, meaning we don't have to dedicate an entire turn to getting out Dark Magician with no effect and only 2,500 attack points. We also get Assurance and Arcana, so that we don't have to worry about rolling low when it's a simple effect like Monster Reborn. It brings back a monster. It's pretty self-explanatory. At level 11, we get 2 proficiency boosts. Expert protections boost our armor proficiency to expert, while simple weapon expertise boosts our proficiency with guns to legendary. We also get 6th rank spells at this point. Spell Rack punishes foes who like to buff themselves with protective cards, while Scintillating Safeguard buffs ourselves with protective card. It's fine when we do it. At level 11, we get Whispers of Warning. This class feat lets us discard Karibo from our hand to negate an attack coming our way, forcing an opponent to try again. And the Light of Mist skill feat lets us see through our opponent's bluffs using our deception score. We are the king of games after all, not them. Level 13 Animist can pick up the Inner Wellspring as S3 feat, helping us regain focus points that we use for our primary spirits. And the Master of Spirit and Mind feature boosts our will saves to master, as well as counting all successes as critical successes for will saves. We also get weapon specialization, increasing the damage we do with weapons. Remember that one time Yugi nopes out of a duel and just uses a sword to stab Pegasus in the chest? You don't? Maybe that was just a weird dream I had. For our 7th rank spells, we're going to pick up Summon Fiend and Summon Monitor, so that we can pick up some of our more extraplanar spells in Yugi's deck, like Summon Skull. Can you tell I'm starting to have a harder time justifying our spell choices? It's almost like this TTRPG wasn't designed specifically to replicate a trading card game. But that's exactly what we're going to continue to do at level 14 with basic wizard spellcasting, giving us a 1st, 2nd, and 3rd rank arcane spell. Summon Animal will let us summon our more bestial monsters. Mirror Image lets us replicate magical hats, possibly ignoring attacks altogether. And Paralyze lets us activate a spellbinding circle, preventing foes from attacking, switching positions, or moving. At level 15, we're going to pick up the feat Unified Theory, letting us recall all the magic in the world with a simple Arcana check, which is now a legendary. Don't ask me how we can use Arcana to identify some of the more sci-fi elements of the game, like space satellites or dragons made out of artillery cannons. Just know that we can. 15th level also opens the door to our 4th and final apparition. Reveler and Lost Glee is a pretty good stand-in for the more fiendish aspects of our deck, but I also wouldn't fault you if you wanted to go with Crafter in the Vault to reflect the Magnet Warrior themes that usually hold Yugi's deck together. Finally, this level gives us Master Spellcaster, boosting our Perception skill to Expert, and 8th rank spells. Summon Deific Herald at this point will let us summon the Egyptian god cards, while Divine Armageddon is a pretty good simulation for an attack by said god card. Level 16 lets us upgrade our Wizard spellcasting with ranks 4, 5, and 6 spells, as well as the Bargain Hunter skill feat, because, let's face it, at this day and age, becoming King of Games is more about the money in your wallet than the cards in your deck. To fill out those new fancy Wizard spells, we're going to get Rebounding Barrier for a Magical Cylinder, Mirror Malefactors for a Fiend Sanctuary, and Mislead for a... I don't actually know what card this would replicate, but it seems to fit Yugi's misdirection theme. At level 17, we get Persistent Confidence, letting us use our reroll from Confident Actualization once per hour rather than once per day, and we get access to our highest level of spells. To fill those new 9th rank spell slots, we're going to get Seize the Soul, letting us challenge foes to a shadow game, or just win the shadow game they challenged us to, as well as the Foresight spell, which reflects our master strategy, allowing Yugi to plan ahead his strategy based off of what others may do. At level 18, we're going to max out our Wizard spellcasting with Master Wizard spellcasting, giving us both 7th and 8th rank arcane spell slot. Duplicate Foe is pretty good if your enemy decides to throw their own Egyptian god card at you, while Summon Archmage finally lets us get Dark Magician onto the field, for only a single round. At level 19, we're going to pick up the Biographical Eye General feat. Most of the characters in the Yu-Gi-Oh universe aren't exactly subtle with their deck strategies. The guy named Rex uses dinosaurs, Weevil uses insects, and the people covered in ancient Egyptian regalia usually base their decks off of ancient Egypt. I don't think you need a level 19 feat to figure this out, but this will help you out just in case you do. We also get Legendary Spellcaster at this level, boosting our Gladiator lore proficiency to Expert, and the Supreme Incarnation, letting us bring our archetype's ace monsters onto the field. Dark Magician Girl can be the Queen of Winter's Court, Buster Blader can be the General of Endless Battle, Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast can be the Beast of Boughs, and finally, good old Summon Skull can be the Ringmaster of Dark Celebration. These avatars can be used to finish up a duel, but you only get one, so use them wisely. And finally, at level 20, we get the Eternal Guide class feat, to ensure that even if we do kick the bucket somewhere down the line, our descendants will live on to duel Kaiba another day. Oh, And magical shorthand is a skill feat that lets Konami finally uses keywords like piercing damage in their card effects. Alright, that's another character down, so let's take a look at the pros and cons. First off, this build uses 4 different spirits with 4 very different styles of play. While in card games, it may be best to strategize your deck around one single play style and doing that to the best of your ability. Versatility in TTRPGs ensures there's never a situation where you won't be able to contribute to the game. Next off, we're the king of games, and as the king of games, we rely on skill, not luck. So we have a variety of different abilities that make sure luck has no place in our fighting style. And finally, even if for some reason we can't summon an Egyptian god card to take down our enemies for us, we have plenty of spells that can tangle up enemies, ensuring that they can't use their best techniques either. For cons, however, in a world of dragons and mystic pharaohs, we're kind of just a guy. If a foe can get around our combat tricks and powerful summons, they might find us easy pickings. And speaking of those summons in Pathfinder aren't typically the strongest in the world. They are useful for having creatures do something that you can't do, but don't expect their numbers to compare to your own. And finally, we kind of have weak combo play. Summons in Pathfinder usually take 3 actions, which dedicate an entire turn to just summoning a monster, so you'll often find yourself in a position where you have to choose between summoning a monster or activating a spell card. But hey, you can't do everything. Do what you can and leave the rest to your team. Thank you for watching this video to the very end. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to let the YouTube algorithm know that you like these videos and to show them to more people. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers by the end of the year, and we really want your help to do that. Also, we have an announcement to make. In preparation for the holidays coming up, we're going down to 1 video a week for the rest of the year. This is to ensure me and my wife have time to spend together and with our kids and with our families for the holiday season. We will be back to 2 videos a week in January, and in the meantime, we're going to be working on some longer form videos that don't have to do with character builds as much as they do tabletop games in general. So hit the subscribe button if you're interested in that. We would love to have you there.